With more on Greece's fate and what it means to the rest of the Euro region, we bring in Stephane Deo. He is the chief European economist at UBS. He is joining us now on the phone from Paris. Stephane, thanks for joining us. Before we get to the nitty-gritty on Greece, what do you make of Larry Fink's comments? I mean, how much risk and pressure now is there for Portugal, Ireland, Spain to get their financial fiscal consolidations in order?
Yes, good morning. I think I would agree very much with what has been said. That's why the ECB and the European government don't want to do a default of Greece right now, because if you do a default of Greece right now, then obviously the market will focus its attention on Ireland and Portugal immediately. Actually, I think it could go beyond that. If you look at the price action over the past few weeks, the market suddenly starts to correlate Spain as well to the peripheral, which would be very, very dangerous because Spain is too big to fail. So I think there is definitely the risk of contamination, but it's not only a contamination to all the sovereign threat. Again, Ireland, Portugal will be on the front line, but it's also a problem for the banking system because the banking system would have to absorb some of the loss, and you run the risk of having here again some huge market turmoil in the financial system. So
Stephane, I want to come back to this issue of the banking system, but as my colleague Eric Schatzker pointed out, Jean-Claude Juncker is saying that Greece will not be allowed to default. Does that reassure you about these contagion fears?
No, I think the game here is to postpone the default. Meanwhile, you hope the bank will recapitalize. And actually, there is the Bankia deal being launched in Spain right now. You know that pretty much all the Italian bank will recapitalize over the summer, etc., etc. So I still believe that the default is almost unavoidable. It's very, very high probability. But the hope is that the default in 1 or 2 years will be much less damaging than a default now, because the banks will do what they have to do, i.e. recapitalize and pass provision.
Stephane, thanks. The ECB, we know, is going to take a hit with the Greek bonds that it has bought and those that it has acquired through European banks and financing operations. That was Stephane Deo. He is chief European economist at UBS.